All right. So, welcome all to another morning bit of movement and some meditation. I'm going to have us just come into the awareness of this space to welcome in this meditation so that we're in conjunction with the breath. We're going to do some light movement and then, we'll sit for a minute. Maybe get a little still, a little quiet. I might keep talking a little bit for those of us building a practice. And as always, for those of you who might be with us and have a built out practice, you can do your thing. It's always great to have more people to share some space with, even if you're kind of doing your thing. We're all here for the same reasons and similar reasons, and there are some differentiations as well, but all pursuits are welcome. So let's begin. You might have a block. You might have some books, something that helps you get the hips up, especially if when seated, those knees are way up here and you're rounding forward. We want to try to get that spine nice and straight. So the block helps when we sit really far forward and let the sit bones hang off the edge so we can get that nice tall spine and we aren't back far and still stuck in that rounding. Okay. So if your knees are coming down and they're much, much closer to the earth, you might also be able to roll up a little towel, something like that. So our breathing at night, a little bit more shallow, and we want to expand through the chest a bit and through the belly. And a lot of, for my journey, I will say, modesty, and when I'm thinking about the belly, I might start to suck in a little bit. I don't know if that identifies with anybody else, but when we're doing this breath, we're going to let go of that belly, let it fill on up. And remember that it's important that we give some of those muscles around the rectus abdominis a break, let them stretch a little bit, and perhaps we can let go of that bit of vanity. It's a work in progress, I'll tell you. But let's begin by taking an inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, just to notice what this breath feels like and where we might be with a little bit more shallow breath. And if you've been experiencing some tightness through the chest, we might get a little shudder in the breath. And rather than to judge that shudder, just notice that it's a thing that's happening. And we can unpack that a little bit. And as we continue to drive the breath up a bit more, we may bump into some things happening in the body. Let's just notice them and be aware of them. Stuff that's going on. Awareness is that mindfulness practice, and being an observer of what's happening in the body helps us to connect with it better, and then we can start to move with it, and we can continue that awareness. It's good stuff. Inhale through the nose, and let's start to reach the crown of the head up and stack the vertebra. A little more intentional now, right? And we might start to work at it a lot, and those ribs come forward. Let's tuck those back a little bit. Maybe we don't have to work so hard. Just straight, as it may be. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Let's sigh it out through the mouth a little. And we'll draw the navel toward the spine to empty that lung, right? So here we go. Inhale all the way up to the top of the breath. Exhale, lets it go. Inhale all the way to the top of the breath. And this time when you reach the top of the breath, we're going to hold it. And see if we can just perceive this pushing down, this grounding down through the sit bones. Take a sip of air. Exhale, lets it go. Inhale once more. All the way up to the top. We're going to hold it again, retain that breath, and notice what it feels like to feel that capacity of the lungs filled. 2 sips of air this time. Exhale, lets it go. Let's think about an intention for this practice. Maybe it's to drive that awareness by using the breath to come back to the body, to ask those questions. What's going on in there? Is there an emotion I'm feeling right now? Can I honor that feeling? Is there sleepiness happening in there right now? Is there an exhaustion? Is there an abundance of energy? Just to acknowledge that without attaching the story is the beginning of that practice. Just that simple, just that hard. Now, once we've got that intention set, let's inhale through the nose. Either an audible or a silent exhale is your Om. You might think the O-H-M. All right, let's begin, shall we? Finding your way to a mat. Blocks if you need them. We won't do anything really sophisticated this morning because we're only going to just be doing enough time to shake loose the more, I guess, I lost my train of thought. I want to grab this. Here's where I wanted to go. The less mobile joints because of being still, perhaps. So let's come back to the mat and have a seat. We're going to use a strap today. It can be, and I've posted this on Grateful Moves also, a belt. It can be a scarf. It can be a TheraBand like this one. It can be one of those big resistance bands. Whatever helps you to get to this nice Y above the head. And the way we're going to hold on to this happens to be a much shorter version of something else that you could grab. So if you'd had straps, scarves, that kind of thing, we would grab this so that the knuckles are up towards the ceiling, the fingertips towards the floor, and then we could take it and turn around the excess. I don't have a lot right now, but we'd take the excess so that we can come up above and be in this nice Y shape. And what this does for us is helps us to get this nice stretch coming back. Now, if you are like me and have a TheraBand right now and that kind of thing, you can actually create the resistance that you need in it and then work your way into opening up through the heart space as we come back and down. Now, if you have no desire to go hunting for something right now, that's fine. We're going to take the hands up and overhead same way. You just won't have the resistance to work with today, but the range of motion is still great. We're going to work on getting that spine nice and tall and just working those arms, bringing them back and bringing them up and over. Let's start to work the breath into that as well. Now, what we're doing is we're reaching up overhead and we're opening up to make space between the sternum and the shoulder with the pec minor. When we get some lengthening on this space, we can find more room for the breath. And we can take those better, deeper breaths, getting that oxygen to the brain throughout the day, and hopefully working past some of the slouching and some of the closing that we're doing that really inhibits that breath. All right, so taking your band, we're going to go another direction with this. We're going to drop the right hand back behind the hips. The left hand's going to go up in a comfortable stretch where we can get that arm back there and start to move it back in space and play with opening up that pec minor I talked about just underneath the armpit. We're going to feel this all through the shoulder. We're going to feel this through the ribs a bit. And this is one you can add to any time of the day, especially for those of us who are finding ourselves in front of screens for a long period of time, or if we've got a little slouch. Inhale is going to bring us up through center. We're going to move those arms on over, and the left hand's going to come down, and around we go. The TheraBand can give us a little bit more give, and I've got an old shoulder injury that shows up in this practice, and I've got to, when I'm using strap or something that's static that doesn't have that give in it, I've got to get a little bit wider. So maybe that's you too. And maybe a TheraBand is something you can get a hold of right now. I know that it's a little difficult to do that sometimes. But it can be a nice, wonderful tool in your tool belt. Inhale's going to bring us back up, and then we'll bring those hands back down. Good. So there we go with a bit of opening through the chest and for our shoulders. Let's inhale and sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale and let's think to ourselves, I welcome in this meditation. Inhale and sweep the hands up overhead with the palms towards you as you are welcoming in energy. Let's welcome in the parts of me unwelcoming to this meditation. Warts and all, right folks? Inhale sweeps the hands up overhead. I welcome all of me to this meditation. Let's begin on the hands and knees. Shoulders stacked over wrists, hips over the knees. Inhale, allow the abdomen to sink low, tilt the head back. Inhale, exhale, round the spine, turn the tailbone toward the earth. Let's take 3 rounds of breaths, this cat and cow. And as we drop into neutral spine, I've got a little variation on a vinyasa because it's actually rather challenging to come right into a downward facing dog in the morning unless you've been a practitioner for quite a while. And hey, I've been a practitioner for a minute and it's still kind of difficult for me. So let's take a look at this variation for our salutation. We're going to scooch those hands forward a bit further so that we get this almost overextended cow. So we're going to allow the abdomen to sink low. We're going to push with those hands and take an inhale. And with our exhale, we're going to settle the hips back towards the heels. And with our next inhale, we're going to pull with the hands and extend through those legs, coming to the balls of the feet into a plank. So the shoulders are stacked above the wrists. If you ended up a little bit further forward, just move those toes back a little bit. And then we're going to send the hips up and back real quick and then walk our way up to the top of the mat so that we can come through this as a vinyasa style that's a modification a little bit easier. A forward fold is where we are right now. Let's bend into the knees nice and deep, and I'll take us through a little bit of easier salutation for the morning as we welcome in any part of the day that you wish. Inhale for halfway lift. The hands will come to shins and we'll straighten out that nice flat back. Exhale to fold. Let's take a ragdoll. The hands coming to the outside edges of the elbows. We're going to let that head hang heavy. You'll have a tendency to want to look forward or look towards maybe your screen or something like that. I promise I'm not doing anything flashy. We're just going to let that head be nice and heavy so we can shake it, yes, nod it, no. Flip that, reverse it. And we're going to begin to lead with the shoulders to get a little sway. Take an inhale through the nose. Maybe we'll open the mouth, stick out the tongue, a little ha breath. And we'll release the hands, swivel back to center. Our inhale for halfway lift. And we'll flatten out that back once more. Exhale and fold. Let's begin to rock back into the heels so that we can lift the toes a little bit. And as we bend into the knees, that'll help us to engage through glutes and hammies to push up, and we'll roll to standing, sweeping the hands up overhead as we get up there. And once again, exhale, hands to heart center, fingertips coming together. That's how we welcome in this practice. Inhale, we'll sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, the hands will plant. Let's step the right foot back, then the left. And here's how we do it, everybody. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, the knees will come down to the mat. And we're going to find that extended cow. Inhale brings that head up. Exhale, settle the heels back. Inhale brings us forward into our plank. Exhale, down dog. Let's, again, allow the knees to hover just above the mat. We'll tiptoe to the top. Forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, we'll rise. Sweep the hands up overhead. And let's find ourselves a side body stretch. Exhale, the hands will come down by your sides. You can hang out in a little mountain pose for just a moment while I give that bit of demonstration. What we're going to be doing is taking our weight and pouring it into one foot, turning the toes over, and then taking a step over. That little turn over with the toes is to help you to find that balance, because we will want to put a little bend in that front knee when we step over. So, here we go. Inhale, we'll sweep the hands up overhead. Let's pour weight into the right foot. We're going to spread out those toes a bit and see if we can squeeze the mat with that foot. Turning the left toes over, we'll set them down on the mat. Just give them a little bit of pressure while we find that balance, and then we'll pick it up, step it over. If you don't need that step, that's great. We'll take the left hand, turning palm facing up, grab the wrist, and look toward that bicep, and open up through that rib. We're going to get some side body stretch in the low back and also peeling open up this rib cage. If it's at all too much, let's bring our awareness to the eyes. Are they squinting right now? If they are, come out a little bit and then get in a little deeper with the next breath. With our next inhale, let's come back through center. We're going to step those feet about a hip's width distance. Let's measure it by folding forward, all the knuckles just between the toes. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Once again, remember that tripod stance in the foot, big toe knuckles, pinkies, heels. We want to be able to feel that so we can push up through those heels using the glutes. Sweep the hands up overhead. Here we go. Let's pour weight into that left foot, grab onto that mat, turn the right toes over, find that nice bit of balance. We step on over. We take that opposite wrist, and we'll find our way in. One side of the body might be a little bit more open than the other, so while I might have been able to go deeper on the other side, this could be the side that has a little hindrance in it. And if I'm feeling any tearing, tightness, white hot, kind of traveling pain down in the hip, a little less. Less is more. You don't need to be ripping anything. Just slide up to the point of that nice warm stretchy feeling and that pain sensation, and try not to go past. Inhale will bring us back through center, and our exhale will bring the hands down by the sides. I'd like for us to find that tripod stance in the feet once more, spread out the toes, grab the mat. What we'll notice is when we do engage by driving that big toe knuckle down is arch engagement in the feet. This is good for us. We're going to get that arch engagement going. I'm going to flip sideways here for a second. And I have a tendency to have an anterior tilt from shortened psoas. So I'm going to squeeze those glutes to get them underneath and get that spine nice and tall. We're going to take the shoulders up towards the ears. They don't belong there, right? Let's send them back and just let them slide down. We're going to try not to flare the ribs, so tuck them back if they started to inch forward. Let's find 3 rounds of breath here. That belly breath again. Breathe down into the belly. Exhale, side on out. Inhale, we'll sweep the hands up overhead one more time. Exhale, let's fold forward. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, the hands will plant. Let's step the left foot back this time. The right will follow. You may take an entire vinyasa if you've got the practice. If you want to take it that modification route, let's bring the bend into the knees as we exhale. Inhale and bend into the back with that belly low. Exhale, come on back. Inhale, pulls us forward. And one more exhale to a down dog. If you're not feeling that down dog, let the knees come back down. And let's walk those hands back towards us, bringing the knees back down if you are up in a down dog. And find your way to a tabletop once more, where we'll shimmy those hips a little bit as we get prepared to hop into them a bit deeper. Let's let the hips go to the right side. The gaze will go left over that opposite shoulder. And if you'd like to drive a little bit deeper into this particular pose, we're going to just saddle the hips back ever so slightly, looking for that cranky spot. Maybe the right hand comes out a little wider and we tuck the right foot under the left crook of the ankle so that we can drive down into that right knee and saddle. Exhale. Some stretch for that glute medius. I'm doing some of that hip stuff there. Come back through center with your inhale. Slide those hips on over to the left. Gaze to the right. Same. Walk the hand out. Tuck the foot if you like. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Just settle in and explore a little bit. Maybe we'll find that tricky spot that doesn't really want me to linger there, but I can. Come back through center and let's begin to go in. Cross the ankles behind you and we'll walk the hands back so we can come over onto the sit bones. And you might find your block. Let's, for a moment, take a couple more of those deeper cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose and breathe into the belly. Exhale to sigh it out. Last time of one of these larger breaths, we're going to breathe in. Exhale, let's go. And now let's explore the breath just as it comes to you naturally, whatever that cadence might be. And it could be that some of the movement dialed it up a little bit and it'll settle back down. Let's consider our thoughts and our consciousness like the bottom of a pond, or if you've ever noticed a really, really powdery kind of sandish water in the beach, when you step down and it poofs and all of that sediment moves around, we're going to let it settle back down to the bottom and let the waters run clear. If that's something that's rather difficult this morning, that is the practice. And if you're aware of it, congratulations. That's what this is all about. Find your way to that awareness so that we understand how we work. It is there that we can start to make little shifts to understand ourselves a bit better and go a little bit deeper. The portion of the meditation is a little bit shorter because I'm asking you to do something that's kind of challenging. So let's take a thought. The first one that pops in your head probably has something to do with what's happening next, right? And if in our mind's eye we can take a look at that thought and be a passenger and observe it, rather than it going right in here and the stories that we tell start to begin. Sometimes those stories aren't grounded in a lot of truth. So if we can take a look at what this is, what it means, maybe it doesn't have to be so in the face. I'll invite you to take a look at this one last time. And with your next exhale, we're going to blow it into the distance, not away forever, not to tuck it under the rug, but just to save it for later. Right now, it's about going in. Let's find the breath. Inhale through the nose. Let's hop up to that space just behind the third eye center. And see if we can perceive just an opening, an allowing of space to happen there. Sometimes it's associated with some other sensations in the body, but everyone's a little bit different. So my experience may not be your experience. So if I say anything that sounds like this is what you're supposed to feel, that's not really true. You feel what you feel, and that's what this is about, you going in and finding out what those feels are. Let's continue. Find the breath. Inhale, and with your exhale, let's see if we can drop down into the heart space. What's going on in there? Is there an emotion to attach to? And if you do have one that's there, can you also perceive being a passenger to this emotion in this moment by following the breath, honoring that the emotion is there without being consumed by it or being so attached to it we cannot let go of it and continue our path. With our next inhale here, fill up for the belly. Exhale, slide on down to your foundation. Notice the earth beneath you in whatever form you might be sitting on. Ground here, knowing that you're stable. Your body supports you. And that can mean many different things. What does it mean for you? Follow the breath. And we're going to rise back up into that heart space just for a visit. Remember to welcome in those parts of you that sometimes might be difficult to welcome. We can do that here. Inhale, and let's climb up into that head space again. And accept the thoughts that come, because that's what the brain's supposed to do. And know that these places within you, while at times may be trying, are also your strengths, can feed your purpose, your passions. You are enough. You are perfection. Inhale through the nose, nice and deep. Exhale to let go. And one more time. Let's sweep the hands up overhead and say out loud or to yourself, as we exhale, I welcome all of myself. Let's finish with the hands at the heart center. The thumb knuckles coming to the sternum. Press them in and know that you are here and that we are here. Thumb knuckles come to the third eye center, where the light that resides within me honors and cherishes and respects the light that resides within you for exactly who you are. We'll bow together and say Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me this morning. It just took us a little bit past 7:31. I don't know if you're going to rush off anywhere, but I will, of course, stick around for a couple of minutes to filter through any questions you might have. And again, I'm more than happy to answer questions on my Instagram channel, also at Grateful Moves, GR8FUL Moves. And you can also find more information about how to work with me and my full class schedule on gratefulmoves.com, spelled the same way. It is my privilege to be here with you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 to 7:30, and on Sunday at 9 to 9:30, right here on BKBIG. The story will also have a copy of this video that runs throughout the day. So sometimes I'm saying in the morning here, but it may not be for you. Never mind all that. Replace that with the time and the space that you're in.